Welcome back. All right, so here we are. It's September 14th. We're about halfway through the month. And good news. If you're a Blues fan, Tyler Bozak's returning. So Bozak had other offers, and there were rumors linking him to Pittsburgh as an example. There were other teams that were in on him. And he decides he circles back and he's going back to St. Louis. So it's a 750,000 base salary, and then there's bonuses in there as well. So those bonuses would get tacked onto next year's cap. That's the way that works. So yeah, Bozak comes back to St. Louis. That's good news for the Blues. Gives them a little bit more depth down the middle, and he's a useful player who dealt with injuries last year. But yeah, so he decides to go back to St. Louis. We'll see if this is his last year. Giovanni Smith has signed a 2-year extension in Detroit. I like Giovanni Smith. I think there's a little bit of upside in there. I don't know how much offensive upside there is, but Detroit's keeping him around for a couple of years. I do think at the very least he can be a solid fourth line option. Noah Gregor, also, this happened yesterday right after I posted my video. He signs a 1-year, $750,000 extension with the San Jose Sharks. Played, I believe, 30 games with the Sharks last year. Young player, and so we'll see if he continues his evolution with San Jose this coming year. And yeah, so that's your signing news for today. Now, signing that could happen soon is, of course, Brady Tkachuk. And Bruce Garrick's reporting that he believes that it's an 8-year, $64 million contract that's been offered to Brady Tkachuk. It's a lot of money. And yet, you know, if Ottawa's going to make good on this, if Eugene Melnick is going to prove himself to be correct, that Ottawa's rebuilding towards being a contender and maybe winning themselves a cup, you got to pay these guys. You have to pay them. And so this time around, it looks like guys are going to get paid. And we'll see how things go. But if it's an 8-year deal for Brady Tkachuk, yeah, he's going to be a Senator for a nice long period of time. Of course, not signed yet. We'll see what kind of contract he actually ends up with. We are not that far away from training camp where Dorian said he would be signed. So we'll see if that is in fact the case. There was an interesting article yesterday, too, involving Ryan Kesler, where he stated that, you know, after the hip surgeries he's had, he doesn't believe he'll ever get back to the NHL. I thought we already adjudicated this last year. I'll pick that up after. I thought we already went through this last year, at least last offseason, where he had basically said he wasn't going to play again. So, and then you look at, there's the Kessler house they had over the summer on Sportsnet. Like, it's just, to me, it's kind of obvious that Kessler is done as a National Hockey League player. He won't be able to get back to that level again. He's got 1 year left on his contract with Anaheim. That, of course, gets stuck on LTIR, and he's not going to play. But I thought it was interesting that the question was still being asked about whether or not he might try for a comeback. And while he's able to do workouts and whatnot, he doesn't think he'll ever get back to the NHL level again. Jason Dickinson, apparently ready for the passionate fan base in Vancouver. And I'm looking forward to this season, and he's not wrong. The quote from this that's gonna get a lot of people talking is, if the team wins or loses in the playoffs, then the city burns, right? I mean, he's kidding around here. So he's kidding around here. And it's a statement I've made a long time, because people say, oh, the Canucks fans, they burn down the city, you know, if they lose. I don't think it would have mattered. 94, I think if they won the Stanley Cup, riot. 2011, if they win the Stanley Cup, probably still a riot. I don't think losing is what sets that off. I think it's just that's how that works. And he did talk about the passionate fan base and being told when things are good, when the team's winning, things are really good, and when they turn ugly, they get really ugly around the Vancouver Canucks, which is absolutely true. After the 2020 playoffs, everybody was very happy, and you know, everything seemed to be going really well for Vancouver. And then the offseason took place, fans were less exuberant, and then we get into the following season, and that was it. Then we're having all the discussions online about how terrible the team is and what horrible direction they've got, and everything's bad all the time. And it's like they forgot they did pretty well in the 2020 playoffs. So yeah, it is a highly reactive fan base that, yeah, when things, and again, it reminds me of Waterboy, the, you know, we're going to get them, and then, oh no, we suck again. That is absolutely how I feel when I'm talking to other Canuck fans at times. That there's the we're great, we're awful, and there's no in between there. But Dickinson has the right attitude. We'll see how things go for Vancouver. It's going to be fun to watch them in this season and see how things go. They will not be wearing this jersey this season. Nope. Looks like the Heritage jersey's sticking around. So the stick and rink Heritage jersey looks like they'll be wearing that one this year. But yeah, the reverse retros are gone. So yeah, he's clearly been educated, and the players have told him. So get ready for this. It's a little different than Dallas. A little bit different than what he's used to in Dallas. Tyler Toffoli, in an interview, stated that where he became convinced that Montreal was going to win the series against Toronto was during Game 6 when Jake Muzzin got hurt. That as soon as they realized Jake Muzzin wasn't going to be able to play Game 7, he says that's when he realized we're going to go to Toronto and win Game 7. That he believed that was it. There was no other way around it. So yeah, Tyler Toffoli stating what's likely very true. On that Toronto blue line, losing Jake Muzzin is huge. And that is a big part of it. So while we talk a lot about Marner, and I get that, players with big price tags will always get the criticism when your team doesn't win. Losing Muzzin on the blue line was huge. So, and this is fun. This is the time of year where we're getting interviews with players and guys are coming back for training camp. Interesting, and I'm going to throw this out there. I was on the Winnipeg Jets page today because they sent out an email saying that game-worn stuff was on sale, and I thought, well, it's on sale. Not at prices I want to pay. But what I noticed was that Jack Roslovic's game-worn was 60% of what the other ones were. The other ones were 1,000, Roslovic 600. That makes some sense, right? But I also noticed going through is Pierre-Luc Dubois jerseys are on sale. There's two things. Either A, people aren't buying the Pierre-Luc Dubois jerseys, which would make some sense, or B, they're going to trade him. And I say this as a wrestling fan. When you start seeing somebody's gear going on sale, their t-shirts are on sale, you're like, somebody's getting released. I do not believe the Pierre-Luc Dubois is getting traded, but I thought that was kind of entertaining. I thought, so all the Dubois stuff's on sale. All right, well, I'll go ahead and mention that in a video then, because that's an odd one to just have everything on sale for. I did double check. There are no rumors out there of Dubois going anywhere or anything like that. So it likely is a stock thing where they went in the back room and went, we have how many Dubois jerseys? What were you thinking? I think that's what's going on here. But it's entertaining. And again, if you want to get yourself a Jets jersey and you want to have the nice name and number from the team store on the back of it, the Dubois are on sale right now. So there you go. Today is also an anniversary. It is the 25-year anniversary, 1996. I do remember this. The USA winning the World Cup against Canada. And this is noteworthy because I've talked about this in the Olympic videos too. That this was right around where people started saying, so the US is past Canada then? Is Canada done? Is this a sign that the U.S. is going to start winning all these big tournaments and Canada's falling by the wayside? And there were discussions about whether or not there were enough elite talents coming out of Canada. It is interesting how that works. Anytime Canada loses on the international stage, and this being the World Cup of hockey, it is interesting how immediately the conversation becomes, so why isn't Canada good anymore? Even though that was in the final and all that, but still. Why isn't Canada good anymore? So if they lose if they lose at the Olympics, that will be the discussion. What's happened to Canada? Why is Canada no good? Very similar to what I was talking about with Canuck fans up here. There's that expectation, and then as soon as it's not met, the immediate turn is, so why are we not good enough? And it's one of those odd things with fans where sometimes there are times where I get mad if a team that I cheer for loses in the playoffs and they get knocked out. But usually I'll look and go, well, that other team was just better. So I get it. That other team was better. Chicago in the late 2000s comes to mind as a team that, they were just better. And so, the U.S. won that World Cup. We'll see what they do at the Olympics in 2022. Again, providing that the NHL does follow through and does go to those Olympics. But we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing right through, you just happen upon this video. We are 4 weeks away from the start of the regular season, and I'm kind of anxious about it. There's a whole bunch of new magnets being made, and a bunch of other work being done too on other stuff by my new assistant, who might show up in a video. He lives in the house here, and yeah, so put one of the stepsons to work, and so there you go. I'm looking forward to getting those boards up and going, and you know, getting through the preseason and then into the regular season. It's that time of year. Thank you guys so much for your support throughout the summer, and I will talk to you again soon.